Okay, here we are again, my witchlets. We are going to make baked Scotch eggs this evening. And I know a lot of people have asked me, well, what's a Scotch egg? And a Scotch egg is deliciousness wrapped in more deliciousness and then eaten. Basically, a Scotch egg is a hard-boiled egg that is encased in a sausage of some type, rolled in breadcrumbs, and traditionally it's fried, but it can also be baked. A little bit of the history of it. It is claimed by Fortnum and Mason to have been an invention of theirs in the 1700s, about 1738. There is no way for people to actually go back and check the records because those records had been destroyed. So the first recorded incident of the term Scotch egg is in 1809 in Maria Rundell's A New System of Domestic Cookery. It's also thought that the Scotch egg is actually based on the Indian dish, the kofta, which, you know, it's very similar. And it would make sense because it originated in Britain and India was a holding of Britain's for a very long time. Some of the variations of it sound absolutely amazing, and they are things that I will eventually try. They have the Manchester egg, which is a pickled egg encased in pork sausage, a mixture of pork sausage and Lancashire black pudding. And then there is the Worcester egg, which is an egg pickled in Worcester sauce and encased in a mix of local sausage meat and white pudding. So both of those sound pretty interesting to me, even though I don't like pork. I would use beef, but that's just me. So what you need for this recipe is all of these spices and stuff you see here. So we've got roughly 3 cloves of minced garlic. It's probably more like a head of minced garlic, but hey, you know me, I measure garlic with my heart. 1.5 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of ground black pepper, 3.5 tablespoons of paprika, a teaspoon of fennel seed, 1 tablespoon of ground savory, 1 tablespoon of rosemary. Nope, I'm sorry, that's the fennel seed, that's the rosemary. It's hard for me to see from this angle. So 1 tablespoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of fennel seed. This is a cup of gluten-free panko breadcrumbs. Then you will need 6 hard-boiled eggs, 2 raw eggs, and approximately 2 1/4 pounds of meat. I'm gonna go ahead and peel my eggs and get everything set up and ready to go. These are going to all be mixed together in this bowl, which I can do right now on screen. It's fine. I'm gonna move this out of the way. And we are going to go ahead and start this. So I start by putting my garlic in because it's the most moist of my ingredients. So everything else should stick to this, and then it doesn't matter from there. So there's the salt, the savory, the paprika. Now, paprika is a nightshade, so if you have trouble with nightshades, you will probably either want to eliminate that completely or cut it way, way down. Let me stir this a little bit. I should have used a bigger bowl. Sometimes I am not very smart. This is one of those times. Black pepper, I will take that. Behold, a larger device. Black pepper, rosemary, and fennel seed. So these all get mixed around into kind of like a paste, since you have the minced garlic in there and that's rather moist. And you're going to take about a tablespoon of this mixture and not spill it on the table. put it into your breadcrumbs. So that's about a tablespoon. Don't mock me.
Never.
And you just want to make sure that it gets mixed in well with your breadcrumbs. The rest of the spice mixture is going to go into the beef, which we will do when we come back and have the eggs ready. Alrighty, we are back. So we have 6 hard-boiled eggs that have been peeled. We've got, this is probably about 2 3/4 pounds of meat or so, 2.5 to 3/4 pounds of meat. Raw egg mixed with a tablespoon of water, and our breadcrumbs with some of our seasoning in it, plus a prepared baking sheet. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to dump our spice mixture in here into the beef. And then we're going to crack our egg. And then I'm going to do my favorite thing, just stick my hands in stuff and get stuff all underneath my fingernails. But you're going to mix together the spices, the egg, and your meat. I am using ground beef at an 80-20 ratio of fat to meat. You want a fattier type of meat for what we're doing here. That will help everything stick together. Turkey is not likely to work because it's a very delicate meat and it falls apart very easily. So you want to make sure that all of this gets good and mixed in here so you don't have like chunks of spices just randomly throughout. And once we get all of this mixed together, then the real fun starts, where you get to watch me get my hands even more gross and disgusting. As if this wasn't bad enough. Toss me a comment down below if you want to see a video on either the Manchester egg or the Worcestershire egg. I'm considering making all of the component bits for that from scratch as well. I've made a blood pudding before. If you go to the right market, they don't bat an eye when you ask for a whole bunch of pig's blood. All right, this is all mixed together. So basically, this is so gross. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to divide this. I divide this in half, and then I make 3 relatively equal pieces of meat. What you do is you flatten this out, and you want to get it, somewhat like that. Then you grab one of your eggs and nestle it cozily there in the center. And basically you're going to form a meatball around the egg. And you want to make sure that it gets sealed up so that it's all meat on the outside. You also want to make sure your oven is preheating to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Unless your oven is like mine and it's 75 degrees off, then, make the appropriate adjustments. You take your ball of egg and meat and stick it in the egg wash and apparently make a mess. And then you're going to roll it in the panko crumbs and get it all covered with breadcrumbs. And then move it to your prepared baking sheet. And you have to do this 5 more times. So you flatten it out, make a little nest, put your little egg in there, and show it some love by giving it some protective meat clothing. You want to also try to make sure the meat is evenly spaced around, as evenly as you can, around the egg. That way, if it shrinks and breaks open, it's not going to cause damage to the egg. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do up the last 4, and then I will be back. Alright, it is time to do the first turn. Okay, I'm going to set these here. Alright, so the way I turn these, since these are huge, is I just kind of roll them onto a side. It's better if you have a roasting pan that has a wire rack that you can sit these on. That way all of the drippings get caught in the bottom of the roasting pan rather than where you're trying to have your delicious Scotch eggs. Alright, so these are going to go back in the oven for another 15 minutes. And then we turn them a second time. They go in for another 15 minutes, and then we take them out, and they should be ready. And voila! We have 6 Scotch eggs baked. Like I said, if you have a tray that you can sit them on, it's a lot better because then they're not sitting in all of this grease. But it's still very delicious and very tasty. So if you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and hit the dislike button and leave me a comment. Go ahead and hit the subscribe so that you can be notified when new videos come out. New videos will come out every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. And I also have a couple bonus videos that I'm working on for you that'll just come out randomly. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed and you get my notifications and everything, because things are just going to start happening. If you get a moment and I've earned your interest, head over to Patreon, www.patreon.com/KWOS, and see what you can sign up for over there. There's a lot of fun stuff going on, and I really hope that you enjoy it. We'll see you next time.